Hi, it's Erica and welcome to another Demo Plus, and today I'm going to show you a new set of stamps from the Creative Stamping magazine. This one now is issue 38 for the new year, and there's some really lovely stamps in here, really nice, and well, there's a whole mix of weather. So we've got rain, we've got sun, we've got rainbows, showers, windy, so it's a nice one to add a little fun to a card. Just to show you, these are the stamps. Let me put it behind the white so it's easy to see. Today I'm using the rainbow and the clouds, and then I'm going to use one of the text, and I think probably wishing you a rainbow of happiness. So I'm going to use that on the card. I'm using a number of techniques. I'm using the watercolour techniques, I'm plain stamping, but I'm also masking as well. I've done a little sample piece here just to give an idea of what my colours look like. I did actually Google what rainbow colours are just to make sure I had them the right way round. And this little list of words here, well, not words, letters, stand for the colours of the rainbow. I remember it as Richard of York gave battle in vain, which is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So it's a nice little Richard of York gave battle in vain. It's a nice little phrase to remember, and that's the colours of the rainbow. And the red is on the outside, that's why I had to look up. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Indigo is kind of like a very blue purple, and violet is a red purple, so hopefully that makes sense to you. And then I've also already pre-stamped on some thin paper my two little clouds as a mask for my rainbow, so it has like I like the look of it fitting behind the cloud. Kind of gives it a purpose, otherwise it would have to be grounded on the bottom of the card, and I want it sort of floating in the middle. So I've done those as a mask. I've tried this out on, it's the mixed media card, it's the Ranger mixed media cardstock. Obviously it's for wet mediums, but also a nice watercolour paper would go really nice. And it's also my first chance to try out these Prima watercolour paints, and I was really impressed with them. This one is the Tropicals, the nice bright colours. It comes with a little tester card that you fill in yourself. All of the pans, the little individual colours, are wrapped in plastic and paper, so you have to uncover them. And then, really good idea, because there is no number on the pans themselves, is to put the colours onto the tester card, otherwise you won't know what colour is what. So just to give you a colour, and they're really bright. I was really quite impressed with them. They're more like a solid pan of ink than watercolour. Really, really bright colours. Anyway, so we'll be using them later. First of all, let's get started on the card. I tested on smoky grey ink and then on the black ink. That's the smoky grey. I don't think it's defined enough, so I'm going with the black ink. It's really nice to, if you've got any scraps of card, to do testers like that, just to make sure things work rather than wasting your whole piece of card. So that's a nice little sample for me to keep. I've already taken my ones off that I'm using. So this is my piece of mixed media card. So I'm thinking I'm going to have it about there, which gives me a rough idea about where the clouds have got to go. So kind of close to the edge of the card. Obviously you could measure it all out. I'm not a great measurer, as you probably know. So ink that up, make sure I've got enough on there. Yeah. and then I'll stamp it about here. And then I'll do the same to the other one. I could use the same cloud, but I thought it'd be different to have two different ones. And we'll put that one about there. Let's make sure it's at least partially level. There we go. Just using some of the Herma tape on the back, just a little bit to, oh, it's repositionable. Just take some of the tack off, we don't want to lose all of it. And we'll put that down over the clouds. This is what we're masking off. And then we want the rainbow. So let's just check we've got that right. And it's perfect. Now I'm going to put some ink on the rainbow. So just line it up. I'm going to get it up as high as I can to fill the card and stamp. Don't have to press too hard with clear stamps because they're quite spongy. Fabulous. And then you think, oh, I've made a mistake, it's gone into the cloud, but obviously your mask has saved it. So now it's like it was one stamp in the first place. Keep those, put them on the, actually I like to put them actually on the element, and then I can use them in future. Oh dear, we're in a right pickle today. Right, so fabulous, now I've got that done at least. Let's get the stamps out of the way before I go and make a mess of my whole card. So, tropicals. Really gorgeous colours. I know I've got all the colours because I've already done my little tester, which is another reason why it's really a good idea to do that. So, I know that red is kind of like a magenta red, but it does look rather pretty on there. So I'm going to mix a little bit up just to get a consistency of colour, otherwise you get really heavy colour and then it goes to nothing and you've got to go over it again. So if you try and keep it consistent, and then I am using quite a nice brush, it's got a good point on it, it's a nylon brush, but it's a good quality one. And I'd say for watercolours it's probably best not to buy the very cheapest brush. Go for something half decent. Doesn't mean you have to spend a fortune on them, but don't buy like a kid's quality. So that's my first colour. And I'll get a tissue. I'm really impressed with how much colour are in these little watercolours. They look more like a tablet of ink than other watercolours I've used before. Really got lots of colour in them. They are not available from me directly at the moment, but I can order them, so if anyone's interested I can get you a set, but they are not cheap. They are around £23, but like I said, when you buy, you pay for what you get, and these are so highly pigmented, that's really what you're paying for. They could have made them a lot cheaper, but then the colour wouldn't be there and they'd just be like any other watercolour set. But these have really got a high colour. So, orange. Then we go yellow. Yeah, I'm really impressed with these. The nice thing is, I mean, a watercolour set is going to last you a lifetime. I've still got my set from when I was a kid. Problem is, I keep getting new ones, so should really stick to one and stick with it, but these are so gorgeous. Then we've got our green. Green's quite strong, so I can afford to have a little bit less of it. There are two greens there, but one's more jade. This is more of a green. Didn't want it too thin, but yeah, the green's quite strong, so I can afford to use a bit less. I might go over with a wet brush and mop some of it up. Just take a little bit of the wet off, and then you can see, there we are, just mop it up. Just takes the edge off it a little bit. It's a bit too, don't want it to look like black because it's so dark. There we go, you can see that. And as you can see, I'm not perfect, and I did go over that line, but we'll work with it. There we are. So I'll blend it in anyway. Green, blue. I'm going to use that lighter blue. Obviously, if you weren't too neat with your painting, you might want to do every other one, because if you put wet paint, they'll bleed into each other because they are watercolours. I'm not worried about that too much because it is a rainbow after all. And keep going. Oh, I've got a bit of water on my brush. In a minute it's going to blob. You see, if you've got a thin tip on your brush, you can use still quite a big brush, but if you don't press too hard, you just get the tip of it. You can get quite detailed. But that's having a good brush. And indigo, which I call purple really. Ooh, nice colour. But then I like purple. Ooh. And that's getting a bit dark, so just get it all filled. Then just take a little bit off. A little bit more. That's what I love about watercolours, they're quite forgiving. You know, you can push them around and change them quite a lot. So the last one is the violet, which is I'm going to use the purple, but I'm also going to add that kind of pinkiness to it. You can see there. Oh, a bit more. Let's clean my brush. Never put a dirty brush on my colours. I know some people do, but I can't bear it. I can't bear having my colours contaminated. So there we go. We've got like a purpley red. Again, I'll need to take some colour off. It's just so strong, these colours. You see, I'm moving the card and then using the flex of my arm to work in the sweep of the rainbow. Just take a little bit off. And there we go, there's our rainbow. I'm just going to blast that just quickly, just to dry it off. So there we are, and I'll just add some little colour shading to our clouds, and I'll use that other blue, but very, very sparingly. You can see I've hardly taken any of it, and just add it where those lines are. So I've got like a shadow effect. It's just made them more 3D. There we go. Job done. Gorgeous watercolours. I think I'll be using them a lot more. I wanted to add more colour into my work, and those are definitely going to do it. Definitely. They fold up nicely as well, and they've got a little finger hold. So if you're out painting, you can put your finger in them, hold them, and so you haven't got, oh, let me get it out. You haven't got the risk of them falling off you because it's held. So they're really handy, like if you're going out. Right, nice little travel kit. So anyway, I digress. Ooh, bent my card now. So I want to use a phrase. Now, it's quite nice for me to show you this as well, because I know some people are scared of doing this, but these ones are all set up. These are all set. I've never used these before, so they're stuck down quite a bit. But you see that you can be quite rough with them though. They're not too fragile that you. Although I have broken one before, but they did stick back together. So I'm just going to use my scissors, and I want that one there. So you're not doing anything bad by doing that. So let me put that one back, and those two there, and we're ready to go. Let's put these away again. Just need to find myself a block that's big enough. There we go. Don't want any ink on it. So, kind of, it's a good idea to work out where you're going to put it. There we are. And then, so I'll just pick it up there. Because there's always, I mean, just to show you, you could always do like a curved line. Because that's the beauty of using these stamps, is they will curve. Although it's easier to put them down and then curve them so they stick. You can see what I'm doing. They won't curve a lot, but they'll curve enough. Can you see that? I might even do that because it kind of echoes the curve of the rainbow, but let's just get it right first. Ooh. That one doesn't want to stick down. Is that about right? Could afford to, let's put it, if we put it up here, you could afford to have that a little less curved. So it echoes as it's going out, it gets a little bit less curved. There we go. Fabulous. Ink that up. So even though I've got a plan with my cards, sometimes at the last minute it does change. But that's always a good thing. Okay, so make sure we got it kind of halfway. And there we are. Now I'm thinking, because rainbows come when it's raining, and we've got some little raindrops on here, but instead of using the rain, I'm going to use the little hearts. So again, cutting it in half. So I'm using an archival ink. Got cornflower here. And we'll just have some little hearts falling. And it's just filled the page because I planned to put the message down there, but now it's actually worked out better. So, you know, never be afraid to change your plans when you're working. I think that looks good. Right, as a finishing touch, I'm going to put some ink around the edges. So I just need to get myself, I'll just use a piece of plastic for a minute. And I've got my stick, what do they call these? Blending tools. Blending tools and distress ink. Oh, Dauber is in the back. Oh, not very good though. Didn't stick down very well. Used it too much. This one is my absolute fave. Oh, Salty Ocean. But it makes a great sky. I could have watercoloured the background, but I'm giving myself problems because it's really hard to get a background even. So why give myself the problem of that? Do it with something I know works, which is the distress inks. And then just use it roughly around the edges. I mean, you don't have, trust me, you don't have to make your life difficult for yourself. If there's an easier way of doing it, use it. A little bit extra on that edge. And we have a card. So let me move that out of the way. Simply place that on my card and we're done. It's a nice bright colourful card. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks.